If you follow these tips that I'm about to give you, you are going to be so happy when you go to pull out your holiday decor next year with how organized everything is. All right, tip number one, say you have an area in your home that you absolutely love how you decorated. I want you to pull out your phone or your camera and take a picture of it. I learned this year, my own tip saved me a lot of time. I was struggling with my hutch in the kitchen on how I wanted to decorate it. I went back, I looked at the videos and the photos that I had taken of it last year and was like, okay, I love that. Why am I even trying to do something different? So, tip number one, take videos or photos, and that way you can take the guesswork out next year when you go to decorate. Okay, tip number two for staying super organized before we move in and talk about our storage bins is you need to decide if you're going to store your items by location or by category. And what I mean by that is like this mantle decor would all be considered a location. Category would be if I was going to put all the blue ornaments together, all the white ornaments together, and that type of thing. I will tell you from using my own system that location works best for me. So it's just so much easier to get my storage bin and put everything from the mantle all into one storage tote. Let's move into tip number three and talk about the storage bins because that is like the key, I feel like, to the whole video and the most important part of it to stay organized. I'm out here in Jason's sunroom, and you guys saw probably in some videos back over the past that I put this Christmas tree up out here. Well, this was originally the Christmas tree that last year was on the staircase landing. And here is my storage bin that says staircase landing tree. So, as you can see, I use a clear bin. I cannot stress enough how amazing clear bins helped me this year when I was looking for different items that I didn't want to, yes, I know this says staircase landing tree and you want to put appropriate labels, but if you have clear bins, then you can see the items that are inside. So here's the deal. So obviously I did not use this tree on the staircase landing. I used it out here in the sunroom, but I'm going to then just take all the stuff off this tree and put it back into this and relabel it, which flips us right into tip number four. One more thing before we go to tip number four. I want you to pick storage bins that are appropriately sized for your space. I use several different size clear ones. I have small ones, I have large ones that hold my gigantic garland, and so ones that fit perfectly on my shelves in my attic. So all totes are not created equal. You need to measure where you're planning to put them and pick the size that's appropriate for you. I will leave in the description box down below the ones that I always buy. I feel like they're a really good deal and you can watch for sales and you can get them. So you can look for that in the description box. One of the most easy and inexpensive ways to label your bins is to use painter's tape. So obviously last year I used this painter's tape and wrote the staircase landing tree, and I'm so glad that I didn't put a lot of time and effort and money into it since I did switch it this year. And so all I have to do is remove it, reapply my new painter's tape, write sunroom Christmas tree now, and then I'm done, and it's super easy. I do recommend labeling both on the top and the front, depending on where you're storing it at, and then that way you can always see where it belongs instead of searching around looking for the label. You have it on the top and the side. Okay, when it comes to putting away your twinkle lights, first and foremost, before you even do anything, you need to remove the batteries. You'll thank yourself because next year you won't find those icky corroded batteries sitting in there waiting for you. The easiest thing that I have found to store my little twinkle lights like this is a toilet paper roll. All you're gonna do is you're just gonna wrap it around it. It keeps it so nice and organized. Some of them are small enough to fit inside the little end. Mine is not, so it'll have to go next to it and then down into the little storage bucket. But this is such a great way to store all your little lights and then they won't be a big tangled mess. I always put a little piece of painter's tape over it just to hold it in place. And then that way, it can be stored nice and easily. One of the easiest way to do a big string of lights is to just get an old egg carton, save them, because you know you're gonna have an empty one soon. And I wrap mine around that. I just start here in the little groove, and that's kind of how I get myself going. And then I do so many in each groove, and then I'll start heading to the next groove. And this is like the easiest way to keep these so nice and organized. So, egg carton for the bigger lights. For storing all of your wrapping paper, all those kind of items, these garment bags, this is just a cheap plastic one. I'll see if I can list it down below. I've had this one for 15 years, not even kidding. And perfect for your wrapping paper because it can just go in here, and then when you have all your stuff stored, you zip up and it stays nice. And I just have this hanging in a closet downstairs. And then down here in the bottom, you can have your tape, your scissors, anything like that that you have that's wrapping related could just be in the bottom. Zip it up and you have everything in a nice little storage thing. These are also amazing to store your wreaths. Perfect way to keep the dust off of them, keep them protected. Just put it down in there, and depending on how big your wreath is, you can have more than one in here. I just put mine, other one on top of that. Zip them up, hang it up, keeps it nice, keeps them from being crushed, keeps the dust off of them. Perfect solution for your wreath. Okay, so I'm up here in my attic, and this is where I store all of my Christmas stuff. One of the things that I highly suggest that is the best thing ever that you can do for yourself. Do you guys, I don't know if you guys can see it. So I'm in my attic, and doesn't have heating or cooling. It is -2 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now. So my attic's very cold. So we're gonna do this part quickly. But whatever I bring down tote-wise for Christmas, then whatever, like say my mantle, I then take my stuff and I put that in the bin that, you know, so I'm just switching the stuff in and out. And then that way I have a place to store the stuff that goes like on my mantle. And then when I flip back, I just take this stuff out, put the mantle back in, and boom. Best suggestion ever. Saves lots of time and a lot of space. Okay, let's get out of here. It's freezing. If this video is giving you some tips that are useful for you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. One thing that is super useful for organizing are Ziploc bags and bubble wrap. But for Ziploc bags, it's so easy then to just put small non-breakable items into. I always store like these little ornaments in there and that type of thing. Makes it so easy for me to get them in and out again next year. Never underestimate the power of a Ziploc bag. If you're going to store your stuff away and you realize that you haven't used it in years, me personally, I do the 3-year rule. If I haven't used it in 3 years, then I'm going to get rid of it. Unless, I know many of you do like a rotation, and which I do too. There's some things I use some years and not others, but usually if I haven't used it by the 3rd year, it means I'm not going to use it. So then that's the perfect time to declutter, is when you're getting everything put away and you're like, you know what? It has been 3, 4, 5 years and I haven't used this. Time to get rid of it and make yourself be nice and organized. I hope you guys found today's video nice and helpful. We'll see you guys in the new year. So excited for all the videos we have coming your way. Bye-bye.